Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up? King Lion here today, giving you guys and gals a reaction video of Bleach, chapter 655, I believe it is. Now, here's the thing, alright? It's a reaction video, not a live reaction, obviously. So I've just read the chapter, and listen, okay? The live reactions are going to come at some point next week, but the thing about the live reactions is that they take time to edit. Today I want to do like 5 or 6 videos, if I can. And I want to make sure I have enough time to do the rest of the videos today. So in order to make sure I have enough time, I have to have good time management. And spending 2-3 hours editing one live reaction is a long fucking time. So, for the sake of better time management, a reaction video as opposed to a live reaction. And I know some folks are going, oh my god, King, where are the live reactions? Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. We want a page-by-page reaction. And I'm like, yo, take a napkin and just wipe yourself off. They're coming, just not today. All right? One day, but not today. So, here's the thing. This chapter of Bleach. Two things I gotta say. Number one, Byakuya Kuchiki, savage. Absolutely savage. Like, there was no mercy. There was no waiting around. Well, I mean, they did wait around, but it was for like a long time. Because here you have Byakuya. Well, first of all, Gerard, he's talking about the miracles and how, like, what qualifies to be a miracle. What your reaction should be when a miracle occurs and whatnot. And he's about to unleash his miracle. And Byakuya's like, no, finish him. He pulls the Mortal Kombat, and what he does is he takes Senbon and Sakura, and he literally rips off Gerard's head. So that was pretty ruthless in of itself. Then he double taps. Now this threw me off too. Then the man double taps and proceeds to completely butcher the remaining parts of Gerard's body. So Byakuya Kuchiki confirmed. Butchered by day, Gotei 13 captain by night, obviously. And then you have Hinamori in the corner going like, no, no, no kawaii, no kawaii desune, like bullshit. I'm like, bitch, welcome to the real world, alright? Like, here's the thing. This should be commonplace. Like, I'm not saying that Shinigami should be, like, ruthless, but this should be commonplace. When you are a military organization, you want to make sure that your opponent's dead. Byakuya Kuchiki doing something like this should be like, okay, well, I mean, granted, Hirako Shinji was kind of sweating a little bit like, yeah, and I quote, any job worth doing is worth doing right. Twice for good measure. Heh. So, even he's a little bit like, you know, ooh, wow, like that was that was savage. But again, it should be commonplace. Because you want to make sure that your enemy is dead. And this is a military organization. So, I'm just saying. Now, that being said, after all that, not over yet, obviously. Because then we have Das Boot. Now, Das Boot comes in strong as fuck. Like, oh, what's this? Like, what's going on here? And lo and behold, we see Gerard Valkyrie and his power. The power to become larger. This, to me, is ridiculous. Alright, now it's come on, man. He's Yummy. He is the Quincy version of Yummy, Ryalgo. But instead of his size, okay, there's two things that can potentially make him, well, no, one does kind of, but the other one for sure, if it's possible, can make him better than Yummy from this perspective. So let me go and talk. Well, let me quote what he said about his powers, and I quote: "The mythical Gerard, my power is to turn the damage I've taken and convert it into what you see standing before you. This god size." Now, well, I'll continue. I'll say this just once more. You've left quite an impression on me. To think the Gotei 13's captain level fighters were capable of this much. To inflict this level of damage on my body using my conversion, this is the first time I've ever been able to become this gigantic. Now, here's the thing, alright? He says god size. Like, when I think god size, I'm thinking, like, Galactus motherfuckers, alright? I'm thinking like Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, motherfuckers. Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. That's what I'm thinking when it comes to God size. When you can take galaxies and start throwing galaxies around, yeah. Oh no, you God size. Gerard. But I can see where they're going with this. Because I know, or at least as far as I know, when it comes to things like Norse mythology, I can't say the word, Norse mythology, Greek mythology, you have some of the deities. They're actually far larger than the average human being. Like, they still have a human form, but they're much, much bigger. So an example would be, let's use a Dark Souls example. When you have someone like Guinevere, right? If you play Dark Souls, or if you know about Dark Souls, Guinevere, she is a god in the Dark Souls verse, quote-unquote god. And she is actually portrayed to be much, much larger than the average human. You see what I'm saying? So, he's, I guess, in the sense of Norse mythology, since his name is Gerard Valkyrie, I guess he would be god size. And what's important here is not just the size factor, it's the strength and durability factor. It looks like his strength and durability scale with his size. So the bigger he is, the more strength he gets and the more durability he gets. Which in some cases wouldn't be true necessarily speaking. So when you see him get his body eviscerated by Byakuya Senbon Sakura, and then later on in the chapter, you see that same Senbon Sakura get blocked easily by just his palm, then it's clear that his durability scales up as well. So, here's the main thing. And by the way, you have Hyako Shinji almost getting crushed and whatnot. And then, of course, you have, what is this? Stop it. Turn. Boom. And he brings down the palm. So, Hinamori and Shinji are potentially out of the picture at this point in time. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the ultimate difference between Yami Rialgo and Gerard Valkyrie, potentially, it's not necessarily how they become larger. Because in Yami's case, it was rage. In Gerard's case, it's damage. The main difference here, potentially, could be the size cap. Because we know that Yami Rialgo, when he fought against Byakuya and Kenpachi, which was skipped because of, Taite Kubo bullshit. But we know that he was in that apish form, like that giant apish form, when he fought against them. And when we see him on the ground bloodied and he's, dying, that's the form that he's in. So apparently he didn't transform into a higher form, even though he was obviously getting angrier and more pissed off, during that battle. That's very obvious, because the guy gets angry fairly easily. And according to him, the angrier he becomes, the more powerful he becomes. So here's the thing. He had a size cap. So even though he was getting more and more pissed off, he could only become so big. However, when it comes to Gerard, potentially speaking, his size cap could be even larger than that of Yami Rialgo. So he takes more damage and more damage and more damage. He becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And potentially he can become the size of the entire city. Maybe. That's a big motherfucker. But he could be that big. And if that was the case, then his durability and his strength would, of course, spike alongside with his size. In fact, if he is supposed to be some type of deity like Baro was, and Perninda was a deity via the fact that Perninda was the left arm, yeah, the left arm of the Soul King. So here is what it comes down to. Gerard could actually have no size cap. He could potentially become bigger and bigger and bigger. So from city size to mountain size to multi-mountain size. I mean, like, do you see what I'm saying here? He could become massive. Truly massive. And I mean, I'm just saying that right now, the size factor by itself, it's not like, like it's okay right now. Right now, it's kind of honestly. Right now, it's like it's subpar. It's like we've seen this shit before, obviously. However, the potential could become something truly phenomenal if he becomes truly massive. So maybe possibility. I mean, we've had some guy that can pierce through everything. Pernida had some ridiculous regen. And you have to give Gerard something of the same caliber of OP, I guess. And that would be just his sheer, massive, gargantuan size. His godlike size. So, it's possible, but right now, this is some bitch-assness. I'm surprised that Byakuya and Renji and Rukia are struggling with a big dude. Like what? Like right now he's looking like maybe like 2 or 3 Jidambo. You know, like that's really it. That's really it. I'll give or take he's gonna be what? He looks like 70, between 70 and 100 meters. I think that's kind of a stretch though. But like from the way he's looking, from Renji's perspective, yeah, somewhere around 70 to 100 meters. And that's really it, man. I mean, like, I was hoping for more, honestly. Like, when it came to a miracle, I'm thinking, like, he's gonna, like, bring down the angels and shit. You know, like, he's gonna be saved by the holy graces of God. Like, oh, yeah. Like, but no, he just gets bigger. Like, that's it? Like, that's your miracle? You just, like, what? Like, come on, man. Like, nah, man. Like, it's not, no. Like, it's not, at this point in time, it's not miracle worthy. But potentially it could be. So, that's really it. I'll do my review later, but right now, King Lightning is fairly disappointed, but I'm hoping that my disappointment will turn into joy and glee. So I'd say I'm done. King Lightning, rate the video, comment, subscribe. Have a nice goddamn day. What the fuck was that? Like forehead. Come on, man. Boom. There we go.